Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Whether it's hot yoga, over 100-degree weather, or too much sun. Gator Light, with a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes, was scientifically designed to help move fluids into the body faster for rapid rehydration. Shop now at retailers nationwide. Gator Light hydrates faster than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
Now at Lowe's, faster quotes start at the Lowe's Pro Desk. Got a material list handwritten on a sticky note or saved as a photo? Perfect. Bring it to us and get a quote in minutes. And if you don't see what you need on the shelf, we'll help you get it. You can access thousands of products beyond what's available in-store or on Lowes.com, right from the Lowe's Pro Desk. Build quotes faster and source the materials you need to keep your jobs moving. Just like that, at Lowe's.
This episode is brought to you by Tidy Cats, here to level up your litter game with their new Performance Plus lineup. Your home is your happy place, your cats, VIPs. So when it comes to the litter box, excellence isn't optional. Choose from products that specialize in max power clumping, low tracking, or odor fighting so advanced, stink won't see it coming. Tidy Cats Performance Plus. Mission mighty, keep it tidy. Shop now at tidycats.com.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Coach Unplugged. I'm so happy you decided to join us today. Before we jump into the podcast, I'd like to give a big shout out to our 2 sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number 1 shooting machine on the market. We own 3 of them, and I can tell you personally, even before they became sponsors, their customer service is second to none. Every time I've had any issues with any of my machines, going back to the way old ones, they've always taken really good care of me. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com. Oh, and mention us, and they'll give you $450 off. Mention Coach Collins or Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $450 off. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. We always tell our players that they should be working on their craft. I challenge you to work on your craft. Come over, join a community of like-minded coaches who want to make this game better. It's the reason I started Teach Hoops, is to help pay the bills for all these podcasts, but even more importantly, to give back to this great game that has given me so much. And to set up a roadmap for you to be successful, not only on the court, but off the court. And we offer a 14-day free trial. So come over and kick the tires around, see if you like it. And let's head off the podcast. All right. Welcome to Coach Unplugged episode. Wow. I'm going to look here as I'm pulling this up, Coach. I think High School Hoops, when we're doing this, is at 2066 episodes. And I'm still happily married. That is unbelievable, in my opinion. I know.
Hey, I'm a recently married guy, so.
Oh yeah. Did she ever know you as not a head coach?
So she did. So we're actually high school sweethearts. So she knew me as a high schooler. She's starting to come around as the head coach. She's doing some coaching herself. She was a college athlete. And so she's starting to do some coaching herself.
That helps.
So she's starting to figure it out, I think, a little bit.
I got married the summer before I got my head job. So my wife's only known me. We've only lived together as me being a head coach.
Yep,
so
same
perfect.
here. Yeah, that's nice.
So that's nice. Like, me not being around is just kind of the norm, I guess. All right. So I'm going to, Coach, I'm going to get your name right. It's Vandefifer. Is that right?
Very close. Vandefifer.
Vandefifer. It was close. Hey,
Very
I did
close.
practice it. It was pretty close.
You did. People have been saying it wrong my whole life, so it's fine.
Anyway, I'm going to have you kind of introduce yourself and then tell the listeners a little bit about your basketball journey, and then we'll just jump in and start talking. I was close. I'd give myself a B- on that. All right.
Oh, for sure. So my name's Eric Vandefifer. I'm the head boys varsity basketball coach at Merrill High School in Midland. It's like Saginaw adjacent, if anybody knows where Saginaw is.
Okay, so I know where Kalamazoo is.
Okay, so it's probably still 2.5 hours northeast of Kalamazoo.
East of Kalamazoo.
East towards the thumb.
Oh.
So we're like right in the middle of the mitten.
Okay. All right, I got a
Super
better
small
idea.
school. Yeah, give you a better idea. So I actually grew up here in Michigan in a really small town right in between Saginaw and Flint.
Okay.
And so 30 minutes in either
I've been in the
direction.
UP more probably than my wife's aunt just passed away, and so we're going to be going there in a couple weeks to Kalamazoo. I've been to Kalamazoo a
Okay.
bunch of times, and
Yeah.
then I've been up to the Sioux,
Okay.
because my wife's cousin lives in Pickford, which is by the Sioux.
Yep.
So I've been up there. That is God's country up there. Let me
Yes,
tell
it
you,
is.
man.
Yes, it is. I've gone. I
They
story
probably
for
still have
another
snow in June. I'm telling you.
probably story for another episode, but quick. I went on a camping trip with my father-in-law and brother-in-laws a couple years ago up in the UP. Went to Porcupine Mountains, got lost on the shores of Lake Superior for like 2.5 hours.
Oh,
We were
porcupines
going
are gorgeous.
Oh,
They're
they are.
gorgeous.
Yeah, we went on a hiking trip and kind of got off the beaten path, and we were on the shores of Lake Superior for like 2.5 hours before we found our way back. So, do not recommend not going on
No,
the trails that are prepared
no.
for you.
You know, I tell people that are listening, because people listen all over the country and all over the world. The sand dunes in Michigan are crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
They're super
people,
nice.
you would not like. First of all, there are some TikToks about them right now. There's some steep ones, whatever. But you would not think there are sand dunes like there are sand dunes in Michigan. I'm just telling you. It's like,
Yeah,
until I saw them, it's like, what? Like,
yeah,
you just don't think of that.
yeah. They're awesome.
Yeah, they are pretty cool. They are pretty cool. All right, so go ahead. Tell
Yeah.
your basketball journey a little bit.
So obviously played basketball all through high school. Went on to go to college at Central Michigan University. And so from there, kind of started just volunteering. I had a friend. My friend's wife was a teacher at a local school up in Mount Pleasant area. And so she was coaching basketball and asked if I wanted to help volunteer and just kind of help her out with that. And so I volunteered and helped her assist a girls team at that time, 10 minutes down the road from college. So started coaching there and really kind of like fell in love with coaching. All the while going to Central Michigan, I wanted to be a broadcaster, wanted to be on the radio, wanted to work for ESPN, wanted to work for Fox Sports, calling football, basketball, you name it.
Yeah.
And so I actually became, one of the voices of the Central Michigan women's basketball team the year that they made a run to the Sweet 16. And so that was
That had to be
super fun.
You have a really deep voice like I do. You have a very yes.
So that was super fun going on a nice trip, through the Sweet 16 with them, and then being around the program from there. All the while still volunteer coaching. COVID hit, so I moved back home and started volunteer coaching with my local high school girls and boys basketball programs both. A really good friend of mine from high school was the girls coach. And then I had played boys basketball. So I started volunteering with both of them. And then I actually started calling games for men's and women's basketball at Saginaw Valley State University, a Division II program in the GLIAC. Okay. So about 30 minutes from where I grew up.
Are there a lot of Division IIs in Michigan?
There's a ton. So I don't know how familiar you are with the GLIAC at all in Division II. So, there's probably that conference is made up of 10 Division II programs, and 8 of them are in the state of Michigan.
Okay.
And so they're one of the top, like upper echelon of the conference. And so
it's like Minnesota has a bunch too up in. Minnesota has like 4 or 5 up there.
Yeah. We've got like 8 of them. We've got 3 of them in the UP, another 5 of them in the lower peninsula.
Okay.
So kind of all spread out, but started calling games all the road and away, home and away games from them. It was, for me, I think that was kind of where I learned a lot more about basketball, traveling with college basketball teams. It was actually super, like, every coach from Central Michigan and at SVSU, they were super, like, I went to every shoot around. I got to sit in every film session on the road. Got to sit in every scout that they got to do when we were on the road. And so, like, that's where I was just like a sponge of trying to absorb everything I possibly could.
Because that's a whole different world. Yes.
Oh, it's nuts. That type of stuff that they're doing, even at the Division II level, it's crazy. And so, calling games there, and then decided that I wanted to take my first head coaching job. So I actually coached JV girls to get things going.
I tell people, here's what I tell people about getting your first job. You got to get your first job. Yes. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
8th grade, it doesn't matter. Take a job.
Yeah.
You want to learn how to coach.
Yeah. So
you
I
can,
so I
you
started
can figure out
coaching.
where you want to go after that. I know.
Exactly. So I started coaching JV girls actually at my alma mater when I went to high school at. Girls program was kind of in shambles, but like I said, my friend was coaching and I could see like he was heading in the right direction. And so being able to kind of help him, mentor and develop some players that were eventually going to be, varsity players for him was really fun. And so I coached there for a couple of years. And actually that first group of freshmen that I had on JV who are juniors now, actually just made it to the regional final game for the first time in 40 years in our school's history.
That's
And
awesome.
so that was super awesome to be able to coach that group of girls and mentor them up. And then, and then finally landed my first varsity head coaching gig just recently. Finished my first year, going into my second year now. And man, I had a blast.
And okay, so that I want to dive into that because I wrote some notes about this. Let me grab my notes. So tell me what the biggest pivot for you was from not being a head coach to being a head coach. What were the biggest things that you noticed?
Practice planning. Being an assistant coach, for the most part, you don't have to do a whole lot of practice planning. It's kind of like a show up and, okay, this is what we're doing. Head coaches usually try to ask your assistants, hey, what do you think we should work on today? What type of drill should we do? But you're not the one putting, the whole practice plan together. And so making sure you've got a good plan. But I think that the biggest thing is just like the administrative work is like, so people don't understand how much administrative work actually goes into being a head coach.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'm at a big school. So I've got one paid assistant, two volunteer assistants, and one of my assistants literally does all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like does buses, does, all that stuff. There is so much of that. It's crazy.
Yeah. So the amount of administrative work you've got to do, I think, is kind of the biggest pivot that like you don't understand. I guess you don't think about when you're getting your first head coaching job is like, oh, okay, now I've got to be in charge of uniforms and distribution and pickup. I've got to be in charge of all equipment. I've got to be in charge of, making sure the book is filled out correctly. Because like you said, you're at a big school. I'm not so much. I've got one volunteer assistant. And then my JV coach is also, helps out with our varsity program as well. And so, so a lot of it falls on my shoulders. And so I think that's one of the things, the biggest thing that people don't realize or that I didn't even think about when I got my first head coaching job is how much non-basketball work goes into being a head coach.
I know. And that's what, like how much non-coaching. Yes.
Yeah.
So what about, tell me about the practice planning. Let's dive into that a little bit. What did you see or feel about that?
So the biggest thing for me, coaching and playing basketball, you got a bunch of drills, but it was always, how can I make these drills better or figure things out? And so I think for me, I didn't almost realize how much goes into making a single practice plan. And so I actually created a template in Google Sheets so that I don't have to start from nest like absolute zero every day.
Right.
So I made a template in Google Sheets. I use that, save them all every day too. So, I'm able to pull things from previous practices.
When do you do your practice planning? Like
generally
when do you sit and do it? Because I've changed
generally
over
the
time.
morning of.
Yeah.
Generally the morning of is how I try to do it. I've tried to do it like 30 minutes before. When I was first starting with as a JV coach, I tried doing it like 30 minutes before, and it just was a disaster. And so I try to do it the morning of.
Yeah, what I tell coaches is a couple things. First of all, I used to do it the night before, and the problem is, then I would sleep on it, and then I would end up pivoting and changing half of it the next morning because I know I was thinking about it when I was sleeping. Like, oh, crap, we didn't do this very well. So I'm going to sound old when I do this, but I still do it with paper and pencil. And the reason is, I was talking to a coach the other day about this. I have templates. I use Practice Planner Live. There's other things I use to kind of use a template. But the problem is, it's a living document for me. Like, I am writing notes on it during practice. I am jotting things down. I am going, oh God, Johnny isn't pivoting. We got to work on his, tomorrow we got to work on pre-practice. Oh crud, we didn't get to this. We got to do it tomorrow. So very much for me, it's a living document. So that's why, and then I'll just throw it in my binder and I'll go the next day and I'll look back
Yeah.
sometimes. But that's the biggest issue for me is it's like, I set up these times, I set up what we need to get ready for this opponent. But yeah, you're right. I tend to do it in the morning. Hopefully my principal, I don't care if my principal's listening because I'll retire. I don't care. Anyway, during my prep period or something, I'll sit and do it, or lunch. But I just have not found, and I'm just too jacked and too pissed off or too happy or whatever. I think it's better when you have a chance to contemplate a little bit.
I put a section on my practice plans because I'm kind of like you. I'm jotting down notes the whole time. So I actually have, I'm jotting notes down, but then at the side of my practice plan, I put a couple of boxes, one for post-practice positives and one for post-practice negatives. And so that for me, like, I'm kind of like you, I put it in the binder. And then the next day I use my positives and negatives from the practice the day before to kind of help mold what I'm going to do for practice. And I do the same thing for games. So I have a game sheet that I carry around in my pocket or have in my hand throughout the game that kind of just has like a play sheet, a sub sheet, kind of like rotation sheet. But then I have a positives and negatives takeaway so that I can have that. I jot it down after a game so that I have it for the next day to kind of help remind me of what,
Okay. I want you to stay married, but do you watch practice?
I do a little bit, probably not nearly as much as I should.
I do. I do. I really do. And our machine hasn't been working. It's this year. Yeah. I'll be doing something else. Like if you could see my setup right now, I've got, 3 monitor. I've got my setup here, and then I've got a monitor to the left, a monitor in the middle, a monitor on the right. So it looks like NORAD in here. But usually on one of the monitors, I'll have practice going, and maybe I'll be doing my grading, or I'll be figuring out what I'm doing for class tomorrow, or I'll be doing something else, editing a podcast maybe or something. But I've always got it there, so it's like, ooh, I remember that. I got to watch that or something.
Yeah.
Because I tape them. I think it's important. Kids will do funny stuff, and then I'll do this to the camera, so when I'm rewatching it, I can find it. I can find it. It's fun to show some of those clips sometimes, but you need more hours in a day. That's part of the problem.
That's the problem. Oof. Oh my word, that's the problem. Yeah. Have you ever had somebody outside your program come in and do like a practice audit?
All the time.
Yeah.
And one of them's on my staff now, actually.
Oh, nice.
I haven't had, again, I'm near the end. I probably got a couple years left. So I haven't recently had someone do that. Post-COVID, I haven't for sure. Pre-COVID, I did all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea. Like that's a great question. If I came to your practice, what would I see? What would I see? What would I come home if I was driving to Kalamazoo, maybe a couple hours away?
Coming after,
coming after. What would I be seeing? What would I think? What would I
hopefully if everything's going well, you see pretty high intensity kids working hard. We're gonna have some fun, right? Especially in today's like post-COVID world. The one thing that I've seen is like having you've got to make it fun for kids, or it's so easy for them just to go home and play video games.
Right.
And so, I tell guys all the time, I'm still a young enough guy too. So like I will run sprints with the team.
You've got a lot more street cred. Yeah. The only way I get any street cred is I have food in my room at all times. So they come in and see me to get fed. But otherwise it's like I'm the old fart. Yeah. You still are young enough. You're right.
I'm young enough. I still relate with them, a decent amount, but then I also I'll run sprints sometimes. Like if we're doing some sprints, I'll run, and it's, I do like if I beat anybody, it doesn't count. Because I'm far enough removed from high school that I'm out of shape.
But
I'm still young enough that I can still beat some of these kids. So if I join a sprint, granted it's an hour and a half into practice, and if they've been working hard, they should be pretty tired. But if I just join into a sprint and I beat somebody, it doesn't count. We got to do it again.
Okay, I got to get in shape well enough for next year. That's a great thing. Like if the 57-year-old can beat one of you, there's a problem.
Yeah. See, for me, I'm only 25. So like if a 25-year-old can beat the 18-year-old, okay, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. But if I beat you, there's a major problem going on. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do that every once in a while, like kind of, just makes it fun for the kids. And then every once in a while, if I can tell things are getting a little lull in practice, I'll end practice with, we have to make a half court shot before we go home. I like that one for a couple of reasons. A, it's just fun. Like, you just see a bunch of kids chucking up half court shots.
Right.
But then I'm paying attention to, okay, if I get in a late game situation and I need a half court shot with 3 seconds left, who am I going to?
Strong enough. I know.
Who am I going to? So, for the most part, hopefully if you're driving home, you come to practice, you see kids working hard, a lot of intensity, energy. I try to feed a lot of energy. I'm a super positive guy and high energy. So hopefully
that's
you take
good.
That away.
That will be harder. That will be harder 30 years from now. You're still coaching. It's just harder. I just don't have as much energy. It's just like, oh my gosh. But I force myself to kind of get into that. If you could only do 3 things at practice, what would be the 3 things? Only do 3
drills
things.
Or three
things.
Drills you're saying?
Yeah,
okay.
You could only coach 3 things. You could only discuss and coach 3 things at practice. What would you discuss and why? And what would you do and why? So I'm gonna give you a shorter practice. It's February and you got an hour and a half. So you can only do 3 things.
So number one, if it's February, it's probably game prep E. So we're gonna watch film and go over our scouting report.
Okay.
That has been put together for game either tomorrow or the day after.
Yep. Okay.
So it's film and scouting report for our next upcoming opponent. And then
how long do you normally do film sessions for?
20 to 30 usually.
Yeah. And I've told coaches that recently too. That's gotten lower. I think hopefully maybe they're coming out of COVID. Yeah. You're gonna lose them after 30.
Yeah. So it's usually like 20 to 30.
I'll do 15 to 20 on film, and then I'll do 10 to 15 on something else about like, okay, how's the locker room? How's the bench handled? Some non-basketball related thing, they'll refocus. If it's just film, it's like, ooh, it's brutal. It's brutal.
I utilize Huddle a lot too. You can create playlists in Huddle. And so instead of just, hey, we're just going to watch 20 minutes of film and I'm just going to point things out as they come, I break it down into playlists.
Yeah, I never do that. I only do that. Clips. I've done that a handful of times in my career. And that is when someone beat us that should not have beaten us, I will make them sit different. The quote from me is, you made me sit through this for an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to make you sit through this for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah. So I think that helps putting together some clips because it breaks it up. It's not watching, 4 or 5.
Right. They're just watching themselves, to be honest with you. That's what they're doing. Okay.
So
film is one. Film
and scouting report. And then I usually, with film, I'll show things, draw it up on the whiteboard. But then the number one thing I like to do when we get into the gym afterwards, we do our warm up. But then I like to walk through all of those actions we just watched the opponent do on film. And so, for me, I think of like everybody learns differently, right? You can watch it, you can see it or hear it, and you can do it. And so for my thought process is, if I can do all 3 of those things, talk them through it, draw them through it, walk them through it. If I can do all 3, everybody should have a general idea of what our scouting report and what we can expect from our opponents. So if it's a scout day or like game plan day, it's film and then immediately walking through everything we just talked and watched, is usually how I like to put it together. And then I would be either some type of shooting or rebounding or kind of working on if we're going to do something new or different for this opponent. If we're going to change something and maybe, the opponent's got a really good player and we're going to run a box and 1. But we haven't run a box and 1 in maybe 3 weeks. And so we're going to touch on that again. And so it's really just like a refresh at that point.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I hope you're enjoying this. Make sure if you want to hear more, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you want to hear other podcasts, go over and check out High School Hoops and Teacher Side Gig by Coach Collins. And subscribe, review all of them. 5-star reviews would be nice. Have a great day.
Booking.com is the easiest way from a day surrounded by noise to a stay surrounded by nature. That's nice. Go on, book it. It's easy. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
Fall is the perfect time to refresh and reorganize your space. At the Home Depot, find power tools and tool sets starting at $50 to help tackle DIY projects, home updates, and more. Whether you're drilling brackets to support new shelving or sharpening your hedge trimmer blade with an angle grinder, the Home Depot has the tools you need to check projects off your list. Shop Labor Day savings at the Home Depot and gear up for fall projects with the right tools to keep your projects moving.